Hello, and welcome back to The Give and Go. I'm your co-host Reynoso here with my boy
Soltero. What's up, guys?
We have a fun episode planned for you folks today because lately I've been keeping up with the top leagues in Europe, and really when you think about it, there's only one really close race, which is within the Premier League with Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man City going at it, 1-2 point difference. It's really exciting to see, but in the rest, we're starting to see some gaps be created, dude. And so for this week, I prompted you and the whole Give and Go crew, and I said, I want to do a shoot where we talk about the closest title races in all of world football happening right now. It doesn't matter how big the league is. It doesn't matter how small the league is. We can go anywhere we want in the world as long as it's a close title race. So, brother, I want to hand this off to you first. Where do you want to take us and the viewers first in this journey of world football in search of the closest title races?
Well, before we get into it, I just want to say this is a really fun prompt. And I would love to know what the viewers think as well. Like, what leagues are they watching? What leagues are they excited about outside of the top five in Europe? And, you know, in doing research, I found some really exciting mid-tier European leagues that have some really interesting title races going on. South American leagues are just kind of revamping, getting started, so there's not much going on down there. Central America, Herediano's top of Costa Rica, nothing new there. Dirian is top of the Nicaraguan league, nothing new there. Marathon, I believe, is on top of Honduran league, nothing new there. And so I had to, you know, look at some interesting places to really look at. But I'm really curious to see what you end up coming up with. But first,
I'm curious to see what you end up coming up with.
And we'll get there. We'll definitely get there. But I want to start off with a question, and I want to open up to you and also the viewers at home. When you're looking at all the top leagues in Europe, you know, La Liga, Premier League, Bundesliga on ESPN, do you ever ask yourself, what's going on in Algeria?
No, never even bothered. No.
And here's what's crazy. This isn't even a hypothetical question. I have a problem. Because every single time I'm looking at La Liga or Premier League, I end up clicking on the Algeria tab and just taking a gander at their league table every single time. And it's been happening for the last 2-3 years. And finally, because of this prompt, I asked myself, I was like, why do I do this every single time? And I think there's two reasons. One, alphabetical advantage. It's right there.
Yeah, it's right there. I see it
for Algeria. But secondly...
But you click on it, dude. That's the thing. I see it all the time. I don't click on it, dude. Why would I do that to myself?
I know.
No offense.
Exactly. I don't know why, other than I think I really like how the team names sound. And so I'm going to list a couple of Algeria team names. We have Belouizdad. We have Oran, Paradou, Setif, Sfaxian. There's just something about it that really tickles my brain. This might be a very specific Soltero thing. I understand that. But yeah, Algeria, man, really interesting. And there's not much of a title race going on right over. Well, there actually is something a little bit interesting. MC Alger are top of the league. They haven't won it in 15 years. And they have right now a 9-point gap, although second place has a game to be played to match up to Alger, so possibly a 6-point lead Alger have. And I was looking at the squad. They actually have some notable names. Youssef Belaili, an Esperance legend. Shout out to them. And they have Jamal Ben Lamri, who has been called up for the Algerian national team for a long time now. So they have some notable names vying for the title there in Algeria. But yeah, nothing crazy there. But hey, maybe they bring some silverware back to Alger.
Maybe, man. Maybe. 15 years is a long time.
It's a long time.
15 years is a really long time. I'm wishing them the best, but I will not be keeping up with the Algerian League. I can promise you that as of right now. I will not be keeping up with it. I'll let you do that because I have my eyes set on something else. The first league that I'm going to bring to the table is actually one of the more popular leagues, one of the leagues right outside the top five that I think is really close and competitive when you look at the top two teams involved. A league that is celebrating its 100th year anniversary in existence, which I think is massive, man. And that league is Turkey. The Super League, a league that started back in 1924 and saw Fenerbahce and Galatasaray dominate it in terms of titles earned. Fenerbahce has 28 titles as of right now, and Galatasaray, who are the defending champions, have 24. So it's perfectly fitting that on the 100th year anniversary of the league, the top two most successful sides are battling it out for first place at this exact moment with a crazy 2-point gap, dude. It is so close. Galatasaray has 72 points, whereas Fenerbahce has 70 points to their name, man. It is so close up there. And what's crazy is the disparity between the top 2 teams and third place, bro. Because I want the viewers right now to just ask yourself this question. What do you think is the point gap between second place and third place? I'll give you 10 seconds to answer, whether you're listening to this in your car right now. 5 seconds of silence. Let me hear it. Yeah, okay, that's a good guess. Okay. Interesting. Well, I doubt it. I think I got you on this one. I think I did. I doubt that any of you said 24-point difference, man, because that's how big it is, man.
That's massive.
Between second and third place, and even fourth place, Beşiktaş, a historic club in Turkey, also has 46 points, man. I don't think I've seen something like that in a really long time, man. This is purely a 2-horse race between Galatasaray and Fenerbahce, and I just think it's really entertaining to look out from an outside perspective. As I said, Galatasaray are defending champions, but Fenerbahce hasn't won it since 2014, so they're looking to win it now after a 10-year drought. 2 giants going head-to-head, and the most exciting thing about this is that they will face off against each other one more time before the season ends. The second to last match day, if they win out up until that point, will essentially be a game for the title, bro. And that rarely happens in these major leagues. So something to keep an eye on, man. Turkey's got something competitive going.
Yeah, it's so rare to see a big matchup be at the end of the season in what will essentially be a final if they maintain that really close race between the two. Because usually you'll see like City, Arsenal, in February or March, Madrid, Barcelona, again, somewhere in that third quarter of the season, not at the very end. So if this title race continues between Fenerbahce and Galatasaray, we're going to have a damn near final in Turkey come May timeframe. And hell, I'll be there. I'll be right there in those stands to watch it because that's going to be a crazy game.
Yeah, man. I think the potential is there. If one of these teams loses on the way there, though, it could be the difference between them losing the title and winning it, man. So it's gonna get exciting.
Yeah, and I do wonder on the bottom side of this gap, what has happened to Beşiktaş, Trabzonspor? I know Sivasspor were in the Europa League a couple years ago. They made a decent run. What has happened to them? Like, was it signings that have failed them? Is everybody out of form in their clubs? Was there a huge exodus of players and they haven't been able to fill in those gaps? Because, dude, a 24-point gap is kind of pathetic at this point of the season. It's pretty bad. It's
basically another division. Yeah, it's like the first division is Galatasaray and Fenerbahce. The rest are competing for something else.
No, straight up, man. It's kind of it is crazy to see. But I mean, hey, shout out Galatasaray and Fenerbahce. They must have like really impressive squads.
I asked you to bring me leagues. What league do you bring me this time around? I'm very curious.
So this is going to be a wacky one. We're going to stay in the Mediterranean region. We're going to go a little south, okay? And we're going to go to the Egyptian Premier League. There's not even a title race here. Not yet. The season has kind of just gotten underway, sort of. But here's where it gets crazy. When you look at this league table, and we'll have to pop it up, it's ugly. It is horrendous to look at, man. And I want to say this right here, right now. It is the ugliest league table that you can look at right here, right now in 2024.
Damn, man.
Yeah, and I before I get clipped out of context or anything, I do want to make sure I'm not talking about Egypt, the people, the culture, not even the players. I'm talking about the league table specifically. It is ugly to look at.
Why?
Al Ahly, one of the best African teams ever, sit kind of like in mid-table right now, 8th, 9th, maybe 7th place. They've played 7 matches, right? First place, which is NP, have played 14 matches.
That's crazy.
Double the amount that Al Ahly have played. They are playing 3 months into the future versus Al Ahly, and Al Ahly is trying to catch up in time, man. It's crazy. And I've never seen a huge disparity between matches played ever. Like you see it in England, right? Manchester City goes to the Club World Cup. Yeah. There's a couple of FA Cup fixtures that get in the way, right? It's like max 2, maybe 3. But we have a 7-match difference going on right now in Egypt. It's pretty ridiculous. But not even that. Like there's like 4 teams that have played 12 games. There's like 5 teams that have played 13 matches. There's one team that has played 10 games. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. But what's crazy is that if you assume Al Ahly win all their 7 games and match up to first place who've played 14, they would actually have like a 6-point lead.
Oh, so they're comfy, man.
They're comfy. They have a lot of wiggle room to play in over these next 7 games. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine. But that's all due then to what, AFCON and the CAF Champions League?
Yeah, so several things that have really messed up the Egyptian Premier League table, especially for Al Ahly since they're so involved and so successful. AFCON obviously got in the way this last month, but mainly it's been the CAF Champions League. They're usually played like on Fridays and Saturdays, so there's precedence that's given to the Champions League, and the Egyptian Premier League respects that, and they just kind of reschedule their games later on. But also the Club World Cup, right? Al Ahly's almost always involved nowadays, and that takes up 2-3 weeks of playing time for the Egyptian Premier League. So just even more games that they have to make up later.
Damn, man, that's crazy. Egypt's got a conundrum right now, a scheduling conundrum right now that they need to figure out.
I'm assuming Al Ahly is just going to have a ton of midweek games in Egypt, and they're just going to have to reschedule them in like that. But I don't know. That actually might be worse off if they get really, really tired and they just have a ton of back-to-back weeks where it's 2 games a week. Yeah. I wonder how they deal with it, but if there is a team in Egypt to deal with it, it is Al Ahly.
And staying in Africa, I'd like to, kind of continue this train of wackiness that we got going on, bro, because there's a lot of crazy leagues over there that are seeing some really tight races up top. And in my opinion, I don't think I found any other African league that is as close and competitive as Nigeria's Professional Football League, man. We're talking about an 11-horse race right now, bro. 11, dude, where the gap between first and 11th place is only 9 points. And if you want to make that a little tighter, if 9 points is too much for you, we can make it tighter.
Let's make it tighter.
3-point difference. 3 points. There is a 3-point difference between first place and 6th place in this league, dude. So,
God damn.
Theoretically speaking, anybody can win it, man. Yeah. Anybody can win it. It really is like the Kentucky Derby. You can put your money on any horse, and you got a shot at winning here, bro. Yeah. This is a gambling man's favorite league right here because of the unpredictability it has. The defending champions Enyimba currently lead the table in first place with 39 points, but so many teams, bro, have a shot at it, and I want to name some of these teams because just like Algeria, there's some really curious names out here with Lobi Stars, Plateau United, Enungu Rangers, Remo Stars, Kano Pillars, Shooting Stars, man. The list does not stop. It's crazy. And I think it's kind of beautiful, man. I really do, because when you look at so many other leagues, like the one I just highlighted, Turkey, I mean, it's clearly dominated by 2-3 different teams, but Nigeria actually has a lot of parity with it when you look at the teams that have been most successful so far. Enyimba has 9 titles to their name. Rangers International has 7. Shooting Stars has 5. Heartland FC has 5. Kano Pillars has 4. Dolphin has 3.
Damn.
The list goes on, man. Like, there's actually a good amount of success that's spread out around the country. And so I think that's really cool to highlight and really cool to notice. And the winners, the top 2 teams of this league, end up qualifying for the CAF Champions League. So Nigeria was one of the teams that I thought perfectly fulfilled the prompt that was assigned this week, with a really competitive title race happening in a much lesser known league.
There's a European equivalent as far as how many horses are still in contention for the title. It's the Polish league. The Ekstraklasa has 6 teams, all within 6 points of each other, going for the title. 60% of the league has been played, so there's still a lot of football left, but 6 teams all within 6 points of each other. I don't think there's another European league that has that many teams still genuinely in the title race. But that's not what I'm here to talk about.
Oh.
Not what I'm here to talk about. I'm going to go south of Poland to a very small little country, Austria.
Oh, I almost had them on my list. Yeah? I almost had them. But tell me about Austria.
The last 11 years has been dominated by Red Bull Salzburg. This should be no surprise to any football fan, though. Yeah. Constantly making Champions League appearances, and sometimes, honestly, doing very, very well, considering the budget that they have, the players that they have at their disposal. Salzburg is such a well-run club in Austria. But what's crazy, for the last 2 years, not including this one, the last 2 seasons, in second place has been Sturm Graz.
Okay.
And they've been trying to do the impossible and take down the mighty, mighty Red Bull Salzburg. There was like a 15-point gap 2 years ago, but last year they shortened it to like maybe 8 or 9. This year, right now,
tell me something good, man.
It's a 2-point gap.
Okay.
It is a 2-point gap, but there's still like 10, maybe 12 games left to be played, right?
Are they 2 points up or 2 points behind?
They're 2 points behind.
God.
Salzburg still have a lead, but it's only 2 points.
Okay.
And here's what's really interesting about Sturm Graz too is if you watch them play, they're actually playing really good football, man.
Yeah.
If you're a Sturm Graz fan, like you got to be really proud of the progress that this team has made over the last couple seasons, because if you thought you were close a couple seasons ago getting second place continuously, this is your best season right now. Mm-hmm. You are playing the best football that you've played. You just beat Slovan Bratislava in the Europa Conference League 5-1 on aggregate. 5-1. They now have a round of 16 matchup to be played over the next couple of weeks.
Beautiful.
Sturm Graz making a deep run in the Conference League, beautiful to see. But once again, there's some really good players on this team, some players that I would like to highlight. Left midfielder / left wing back Alexander Pras, Austrian. I believe he's like 22, maybe 23 years, so he's pretty young.
Yes.
Really technical player, very committed, very athletic. But what I just love his IQ. He's really smart on the ball, and he plays a very silky type of play from like a wing back position.
Okay, I like that.
Really cool to see. And it's funny because when you look at the rest of the squad, they actually have some players on loan from huge teams. There's a Liverpool goalkeeper that's at Sturm Graz right now. There's also an Atletico midfielder that's there.
Oh,
interesting. They have a Brighton player. They have an Arsenal player as well. They've been very active in trying to build a really competitive team. Most of the players are their own, though.
Good.
And that's
that
where they really do shine. But yeah, really exciting time for Sturm Graz. It's going to be very, very difficult, obviously, because Salzburg just do not lose 11 straight titles. But if there is a team to do it, and if there is a time, it is now, and it is Sturm Graz.
The Red Bull Salzburg reign has been brutal.
Brutal, man.
Brutal, man. It has been a decade, if not more, of just a complete onslaught that this Red Bull Salzburg team has imposed upon the opposing sides. And when you think about it, man, when you think about the warriors that went through Austria, when you think about just the killers out there, Erling Haaland at one point went in there, got a trophy, got out. Sadio Mane at one point made an appearance, got in, got out. Soboslai. Brendan Aronson was there too.
He was.
These great players went to Austria, signed for Red Bull Salzburg, and got what they wanted and left, while the rest of these Austrian teams had to endure loss after loss after loss, dude. The Red Bull Salzburg reign has been brutal, man. Brutal. And so I'm scared. I'm scared because when it comes to overthrowing an institution like Red Bull Salzburg, it's gonna take a village. It's gonna take a country to back this side that I can't even pronounce right now. It's just people know who I'm talking about. What's the name?
Sturm Graz.
Okay, yeah. It's gonna take a village. It's gonna take a country to support this team. But I think it's there. You got me really interested now. I'm going to watch these games.
We all should.
We should. Yeah. We should, because this is massive for what it could mean for, even Champions League implications, man. Yeah. It'd be insane to see this team actually in the UCL instead of Red Bull Salzburg. And what ultimately does make me happy about this is that we've highlighted in the past, and it's been an occurring narrative for myself, and I believe you agree with me on this too, that Austria's national team is a team that's on the rise. So it's no surprise to me that we're seeing now more teams than just one, start to have a shot at the title here with, more competition and more better players being formed at the homegrown level that teams like the one that you just mentioned are bringing up and highlighting and, using as actual pieces to contend for the title. I think this is great for Austrian football in general, for Red Bull Salzburg to actually have some competition. It's just a big thing that's at stake now with Red Bull Salzburg potentially losing out on a title for the first time in 11 years.
I'm just going to be so stoked if there's, even 8 games left in the season and it's within 5 points. I'll take that. I will take that. It's going to be really, really difficult. Austria employs a championship group where they take half the league and split it after a certain number of games. Sturm Graz and Red Bull are already in that.
Okay.
And once that portion starts, that's when we're really going to see what Sturm Graz is made of. This is it, though. If there is a team in Austria to dethrone Red Bull Salzburg, it is them. And I do like that point because Austria is on a bit of a rise. Not even just with the league, but with their players. Everyone's informed. They're all pretty young, either between the ages of 20-24, or they're in their prime playing really good football all across Europe. And it's players like Alexander Pras who has just hit the scene, but it's because he's with a really good team that's not Red Bull Salzburg playing in Austria. It's really cool to see, and honestly, I expect a player like him to get called up very soon because he's playing really, really good football, and it just adds to the story that Sturm Graz could have. What's crazy is that they actually won it somewhat recently before this dynasty that Salzburg have created. They won it back like in 2011 or 2012. So it's been like a 12, maybe 13-year difference since the last time that they won. But hey, to bring it back, especially after what Salzburg have done, would just be immense for a club like Sturm Graz.
Damn, man. Damn, imagine what could happen. Imagine, man. Imagine. And staying on that theme of giants being overthrown after incredible winning streaks that they put on, I want to stay in that similar region, man, with Croatia. Let's go to Croatia. Let's go to the Croatian Football League, where we have a 3-horse race in a league that does not utilize a championship playoff system. So, the team with the most points wins outright. We got 3 teams. Rijeka with 50 points, Hajduk Split with 49, and the famous and almighty Dinamo Zagreb with 47. So 3-point difference between first and third.
Yeah, that's tight.
Here's the catch. Zagreb has a game in hand.
Oof.
Right? So they win that game. They're tied with first place at 50 points. For context, Dinamo Zagreb is exactly what Red Bull Salzburg is to Austria. That's what they are for Croatia. Dinamo Zagreb has won 24 titles in their history. Anytime they don't win is a miracle, man, because they've won 17 of the last 18 domestic titles, and the only time they lost was to Rijeka in 2017, who is currently in first place. That was also the only time that Rijeka has ever won a title in their history. So we're talking about a huge disparity here between the most successful team and then everybody else. There's actually a pie chart that Wikipedia shows regarding this league about titles won. Dinamo Zagreb has won 75%. 3/4 of the pie chart, bro, is filled by Dinamo Zagreb, and the rest is fulfilled by the rest of the teams. Can you imagine buying a pizza, spreading that with 10 guys, and one guy's like, I'm taking 3/4 of this fucking pie, dude. 3/4, and the rest of y'all got to share the rest, dude.
Greedy, man.
Greedy, bro. Greedy, man. And that's what Dinamo Zagreb is to this league. Now, the question is, when does Dinamo Zagreb play against Rijeka? Because that could be a big matchup. Well, the question has already been answered. They played this past weekend. Away from home, Dinamo Zagreb went to Rijeka Stadium looking to get a result. With 1 minute left in additional time, Dinamo Zagreb got awarded a penalty to give them the lead 1-0.
That makes sense.
And the penalty call, personally, not that convincing. Not that convincing. Came down to a shove in the box where a player just completely falls to the ground.
Damn.
Yes, it was strong, but it wasn't like he chopped him or like he just caught him off guard. It was a shove, which can be subjective, man. It can come down to the player's strengths and just being overpowered. Sometimes those center backs are just way more stronger than the wingers, and the wingers take a hit. Like, I thought it was soft.
How'd the players react?
They actually reacted pretty calmly, as if they understood why they were being. Yeah, they were actually really understanding. So I feel like I'm the odd one out. The comments section were all in agreement with the penalty call. Surprisingly, I figured that was just Zagreb fans.
Come on,
I mean, if you're Croatian, why wouldn't you be a Zagreb fan? They've been that dominant, right?
Yeah, I think there's like a U21 coach in Croatia. Like, he's doing the Croatian U21 team, and Zagreb played like Real Betis recently, something like that, and he had played for Betis when he was a player, and he was like, I'm going for Betis just because, I played for them.
Yeah.
He got fired.
Holy shit.
He got fired from the youth Croatian team.
Oh, my God.
As coach, yeah.
Wow.
Because they were just like, they even put a statement. They're like, look, you can support any club you want in Croatia. That's not a problem here. But we have to support Croatian football first. And since his ideology did not align with ours. We had to give him the sack.
Holy shit, dude! That's like feeding his family, man. They took that.
Crazy, man. They took him out.
That's crazy.
They took him out,
but
bro.
I mean, I guess that is why the European footballing system is the best in the world.
Yeah, very proud. And I low key
gotta
get
have
it
a little bit. Yeah,
I low key get it.
Yeah. So yeah, that pride comes from being so dominant. And that's what Dinamo Zagreb are. And if I had to submit a prediction, it probably is that Dinamo Zagreb ends up on top once again. Because I mean, you just think about it; they got the refs on their side too, man. I don't want to be too loud about that, but I think there is history here to be made for Rijeka and Hajduk Split. But it's going to be so hard. It's there, but it's going to be really hard.
Speaking about Rijeka and Dinamo Zagreb's ultimate dominance, this actually reminds me of what's going on in Switzerland. So thinking about that pie chart idea, the last 20-odd years of the Swiss League has been only won by 3 clubs: Zurich, FC Basel, and Young Boys.
Okay.
They've shared the last 2021 titles in Switzerland. No other team has won it. Right now, Servette are 4 points off of Young Boys. The reason why I think there's something here is they just faced Young Boys this past weekend, and they beat them.
Oh, wow.
So it was a 7-point gap. They've cut it to 4.
Yes.
Similar to Austria, though, there is, I believe, a championship phase where they split the league in half, and then they will play each other once again. So those Servette Young Boy matches that are still left to be played are going to be huge. But it's just really big because, I mean, Switzerland hasn't really seen anything other than the main teams, the teams that have the big budget, the teams that always have the better players. Switzerland hasn't seen a team win it other than those teams. So I think Servette are on to something. They were honestly in the second division, I believe, a year or 2 years ago. They've just recently gotten back to the first division. And right now, they're honestly in a title race. They're the only team that's close, by the way. Any other team behind them, it's even more points. So it is only Servette who can take down the mighty Young Boys. But that's it. That's all that's going on right now in Switzerland. Hopefully, there's something there. 4 points is very doable. There's a lot of football left. But if Servette can even just make Young Boys sweat a little bit, that'd be huge. It'd be huge for Swiss football.
You know, Narwar's from there.
He's Swiss? He's Swiss?
He's a human Servette. Right, human serviette. That's his
YouTube channel. Yeah.
Narwar. Aren't they? Dude, aren't they in the Conference League right now? I think
they are.
I think that's where I saw them first.
They just beat.
They got a result, bro.
Oh, they beat Ludogorets.
Yeah.
1-0 on aggregate. The first one was 0-0. And they got, honestly, kind of a lucky goal, but they took it well in the second match.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are also in the round of 16 in the UEFA Europa Conference League.
Yeah.
So they're like...
It's a good team, man.
That's what I'm saying is beyond what they're doing in the Swiss League, it's deserving. And they're also having a really good season in Europe. So watch out for this team. They are playing good football.
Okay, tasty, man. Let me follow that up with my own pick here. This is my last low-key pick. My last low-key one. This is as low-key as it gets. This is the best title race that I could find in terms of the lower leagues. We're talking about the 50th best league in Europe based off a coefficient, man. Can you guess what league that is?
I was just about to say. Give me 2 chances here. I'm going to say one, Estonia.
No.
Okay, Liechtenstein.
I'll give you one more.
Iceland? No, they're not playing yet. Luxembourg?
Close, no. Close, but no cigar.
Dang.
Macedonia.
Macedonia.
You just keep
I'm
going,
trying,
bro.
man.
Macedonia First Football League. We have a 3-horse race with 3 points separating first place and third place. 20 out of 33 games completed in this league. This league has 12 teams, so it's kind of interesting, their format. Each team plays the other sides 3 times, whereas in the Prem, you play another team, home and away twice. This is an odd number. It's 3 times. I found that very interesting. Leading the title race right now is Skupi, 42 points, followed by FK Struga, 41 points, and then KF Shindija, 39 points. I'm sorry, my Macedonians. I know I'm butchering it, but hey, at least I'm highlighting the league. FK Vardar is the most successful club with 11 titles here. 11 titles to their name.
Okay.
They're currently battling relegation, man.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's actually big.
I think that's big, bro, for like the stature of this league. Skupy, Rabotniki Skopje, and Shikengia are all second with 4 titles. All right, so there's a race for second place. Struga is the defending champion.
And they're in third.
They're in third.
Okay.
Or they're in second.
They're in second.
Sorry, I'm working my way through this. The league was founded in 1992, so it's only 32 years old. It's a young league. And it's just part of, Macedonia's effort, North Macedonia's effort to get back into prominence within the club and country. So it's a young league. It's working its way up. And what's dope is that, yes, if you win the league, you enter the UCL qualification. And so they actually have a shot to, make a name for themselves in the biggest competitive tournament in the world. Yes, currently ranked the 50th best league in the world, but, it would be massive if Skupy could get their 5th trophy to, stray away from those second place teams that are tied right now in terms of total titles and become the outright second place team in the title race right behind FK Vardar with 11. So there is a title race in North Macedonia, bro.
Let's go to Belgium.
Okay.
Sticking in mid-tier European football above Macedonia, but, similar to Austria, I'd say, Switzerland even, maybe a little, but above as of recent years because there's only one team to talk about here. And it's a team that you've heard the name of the last couple of years. That is Royal Union Saint-Gilloise.
Oh, yeah, man.
They have an 8-point lead right now in the Belgium League. There's still a championship phase to be played at the end of the season. But the reason why I bring them up is they have not won a title since 1935.
What?
Yeah.
They were good last year, though, but they didn't win it, right?
They've been great these last 2 seasons. What's crazy is they got promoted from the 2nd division 3 years ago into the Belgium top flight. In their first year, they went all the way and they lost the league like on the 2nd or 3rd to last match week. They went all the way. Mm-hmm. They nearly won the title. But I think it was maybe Antwerp or Club Brugge, one of the bigger teams that ultimately stole it from them.
I remember it was Toby Alderweireld.
That was last year.
That was last year, right? Okay.
Last year. So that was 2 years ago. They almost won it 2 years ago.
Okay.
Last year, they go on another really good run. They maintained a lot of their players, and they also included some really good players too. Victor Boniface, for example. This is last year.
Yes.
So they maintain a really good level of football, remain top of the league once again, and they lose it literally in the last minutes of the league.
It was the craziest ending to a league last year, I think.
They had like a 1-0 lead or a 1-1, and then there was 2 stoppage time goals that they conceded to lose the league. Crazy. And because of that, they still remained winless from a trophy in Belgium since 1935.
I didn't know it was 35, man.
I know.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's a 90-year drought for Saint-Gilloise. But what's crazy, man, is between 1903 and 1935, they won 17 titles.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because of that crazy run, they actually have a tremendous amount. So they have a ridiculous history that's, full of silverware, but it gets really dark because they just teeter between 2nd, 3rd division Belgium for a long time. Past that.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is that we talk about Bayer Leverkusen having a 35 win streak right now.
Yeah.
At a time somewhere between 1903 and 1935, there was a period where they went 60 games unbeaten.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
60?
60. 60.
I don't know, should I actually accept what you're telling me?
No, go look it up. It's crazy.
All right, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Bro. That's crazy.
It's ridiculous. And so now, their 3rd year trying here in 2024, they're trying to get it back, man.
For sure.
They're trying really hard. And the thing is, they have some really, really good players. I want to highlight Mohamed Amoura, Algerian forward, who's looking to get into the national team at 23 years of age. He's going off this season. He's popping off. There's a Swiss attacking midfielder, Cameron Puertas, who has also had a really good season for Saint-Gilloise. So Boniface leaves the team, but they fill in the gaps, man. They fill in the gaps really well. So what a well-run club that they've been over the last couple of years. And the fact that they've been able to maintain such a high level of play for 3 straight years, remarkable. They went on a really what the fuck is going on? Jesus Christ!
This is making me laugh. He's trying to spell Union St. Gilloise. Imagine trying to spell that, bro.
It's impossible.
Just by ear. How do you spell Gilloise?
You have to know French. You have to know French.
God damn, right?
Gilloise.
Producer Rudd, for those who don't know, Producer Rudd off screen is typing his ass off right now, looking for more information, and he doesn't know how to spell Union St. Gilloise.
That's tough.
I don't blame him, bro. I don't blame him. Union, and then Saint ST, and then Gilloise. Yeah. Good Lord, man. Yeah, you found it. The Royal Union. That's a beautiful name.
It really is. No,
Yeah,
it really
beautiful
is.
name.
But to just further explain how well they've been doing, obviously they went on a really good Europa League run. I believe last year. It was last year.
Yeah.
Exactly, where they eventually lost out to Bayer Leverkusen. This year, not as strong, but they are in the round of 16 of the Conference League. They actually just beat Eintracht Frankfurt in the play-in to get in the round of 16 for the Conference League. So once again, having another stellar year in Europe for relatively, if you consider it, a pretty small club. Let's just be completely honest. So for Saint-Gilloise, this is immense, and I'm just hoping they can finally get the trophy.
But do you know how they got to this? Like, how did they go from being, such a lowly team for so long to now a contender for 3 years straight? Is it like an RB Leipzig type situation where they got a bunch of funding? Or is it just finding really good players and making a good cohesive team and being a part of a really good generation?
That's honestly, great question. From what I could gather, there was like a huge chairman change, like in the mid 2010s.
Okay.
And apparently that gave them a little bit more funds to work with, but I think it also changed just the whole vibe at that club in general. They started to get way more active in the transfer market, not necessarily splashing the big bucks, but I think they just got better recruitment team essentially. And I think they just ultimately got really kind of like a Brighton or like a Brentford. They got really smart about a lot of their transfers, and it has worked dividends for this club, man, because continually, even with like a Boniface type of player leaving the club, they just fill him in with another really good player. Because Mohamed Amoura, who's having a really good season this year, he was playing at a mid-level team in Switzerland last year. They were able to have the scouting awareness to look at mid-table Switzerland, see who would fit their club, and it's worked beautifully. So I just think it's been really good signings for the last couple of years for Saint-Gilloise.
I'd like to see them sustain it, man. I'd like to see Club Brugge, Genk all have this sort of new contender up top that could potentially win the Belgian League, because it's due, man. It's long overdue for them to win one. I hope they can close it out, man. You just never know with these things. This is when people start introducing talks of a curse if they aren't able to do it once again.
Would be bad, man.
So this is kind of a do or die type situation with how badly, or rather how unfortunate they've lost the league in past years. My last and final league is actually one that is right outside the top 5. Many would actually argue it deserves to be in the top 5. It's a league that very clearly has a big 3 attached to it. Yeah. And that league is Portugal.
Right.
Portugal.
We don't even got to talk
Liga
about
Portugal.
this one,
Yes, we do, because of some things that I found out in the process of my research that I found to be very jarring, man.
Sporting's not winning.
Very jarring. The matchup is between Benfica and Sporting CP right now, with Benfica at 58 points, Sporting CP on 56 points. FC Porto is out this run with 49 points, 11 games remaining. But what's crazy is that they played today. They played each other today in the cup tournament that they have going on, Taça de Portugal.
Okay.
Did you see the result of that match?
I actually did not.
Sporting CP defeated Benfica 1-0 in this game. A very important result, in my opinion, because they are set to face off against each other on April 7th. The Sporting CP has that confidence now after defeating Benfica. I think it could carry over into the league. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but it's there if they want it. Benfica has won 38 titles in this league. They are the defending champions, whereas Sporting CP has won 19 titles, and they haven't won it since 2021, bro. A long 3-year drought. 3 years is how long Sporting CP has to go before contending for a title, man. And it's crazy to me because, I mean, the research was just jarring, bro. Only 5 teams have ever been crowned champions in Portugal.
Oh, yeah.
5, bro.
Yeah.
In a league that has a 90-year history, 5 teams, what you can count on one hand, have lifted the trophy. 3 of those being the big 3, FC Porto, Benfica, Sporting CP. They've won all but 2 titles in this league, dude. Mm-hmm. They share 88 titles in Portugal, and the 2 teams that won the title were Belenenses in 1946
Good Lord.
and Boavista in 2001. Boavista somehow won it. Not fucking what's the
there's
fourth best
Vitoria
team?
Guimarães, there's
Braga. Not Braga.
Braga.
Yeah, not Braga, which is crazy. Boavista won it in 2001, and that's it, dude.
That's crazy.
And it won't happen again. It won't happen
There's no
again
way.
because the big 3 are once again contending for the title. Very jarring, very scary. But yes, Benfica and Sporting CP going at it for the title this year. I want to see Sporting CP do it. I haven't seen them lift the title in a couple years. And Benfica, I mean, they win this thing all the time. So for that reason, I'm rooting for Sporting CP, and I will be keeping an eye on that April 7th match. Mark it on your calendars between the 2 best teams in Portugal this year.
That'd be fun if Sporting are able to get like a 1-point lead at that moment in time over Benfica, because then we'd get to see if Sporting can handle that type of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So right now the pressure's on Benfica with a little bit of a lead, but I don't know. I don't know if I trust Sporting with a small lead over against the rivals Benfica. 2 Lisbon teams. That's gonna be a hell of a game in April.
True.
It's gonna be
It's a
huge.
Lisbon derby. You're
Lisbon
right.
derby. Yeah, it's gonna be nuts.
Wow. Yeah, you're right.
All right, let's go to England. But not the Premier League. I want to talk about the Championship. Right now, Leicester top the table there, looking to get immediately back into the Premier League. But tied for 2nd place, which is also an automatic promotion to the Prem, is Ipswich Town. A team that has not seen the Premier League
Yes.
in like 21 years. I believe 2002 was the last time that they were in the Prem. But I just want to make note of this because personally, I get tired of seeing the same 5 teams bounce back and forth between 1st and 2nd division. Mm-hmm. And I'm not even pointing out the Prem because this happens all around Europe. You know, especially like in Spain and Italy and Germany. Germany, not so much actually, but definitely Spain and Italy. It's pretty much the same 5, 6, 7 teams that go back and forth between the 1st and 2nd division. And so I love it when a team really puts themselves out there that is not used to being that high up in the 2nd division. Ipswich Town is that team this season. They have some really exciting players. A couple of them on loan, actually, from bigger Premier League teams. Jamaican Hutchinson, who's on loan from Chelsea, balling out right now. But then you have really good players like Broadston and Connor Chaplin scoring a lot of goals for Ipswich. Just keeping my eye on the last couple of months to see how good their football really is. It's pretty good. I mean, for the most part, when they play against a Championship side, if it's not like in the top 4, they pretty much dominate the matches. So it's really promising because what I'm saying is their position right now on the table, I don't think is a fluke. They're actually genuinely good football club right now in the Championship. Unfortunately, though, the league is so long. There's 46 games.
Yeah.
46 games in a grueling season. So they still have 15 games left? Maybe even
They're on 34. They're on 34.
Thank
so,
God.
Yeah.
12 games left, a lot left, but looking really good and very promising for them to, if they don't get an automatic spot, at least they'll be high up in the playoff ranking to, maybe win the final to get that third spot for the Prem. But what's crazy about Ipswich Town is they have an insane history, very similar to Saint-Gilloise in the sense that they won the Premier League, the top division in England, back in 1962.
Okay.
They actually have a top division title. And what's crazy is the year they won it was their year that they also got promoted to that top division. They won in their first try.
Shit, wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Not only that, they're the only British team to be unbeaten in European competitions at home.
Okay, so they were in the Champions League.
Yeah, between the 60s and 70s.
They won their home games.
Yes.
With zero doubt. They won the games. If they lost, it happened away from home.
If they lost,
that's insane.
It happened away from home, and
But did they compete in enough European matches for that to be impressive?
31.
Whoa.
31 matches unbeaten. I think it's 25 wins, 6 draws at home, 0 losses.
That's impressive.
It's pretty crazy. And when you look at some of the teams that went to Ipswich's field, it's like AC Milan, Inter Milan, Barcelona, Madrid.
And that was like the 70s where you could bring a gun on the pitch if you wanted, bro. You could end that streak early.
Smoke cigarettes out on the pitch too if you wanted to, man. It was pretty crazy. And they actually won what is the equivalent of the Europa League.
Okay.
They actually won and got European silverware during that big time for Ipswich.
Interesting.
So it's been a long time since they've seen any real success. They were actually in, I think, the 4th division like maybe 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. They were in the 3rd division last year.
Oh, okay.
So they just got promotion to the championship this year, and now they're immediately looking for another promotion to the Prem. It would be nuts if they're able to pull it off in any fashion.
I mean, the more you speak about them, bro, the more the loss is going to bear on me when they don't qualify, bro. Because there's a very real reality here.
Come on, yeah.
Of Leicester, Leeds, and Southampton getting through.
Absolutely.
It's very real, bro.
Absolutely.
But
I know.
I agree. It's not a fluke. I'm looking at the table right now. They're tied in second with Leeds. 70 points, bro. 72 points. Yeah. 21 wins. They've lost the least amount of games in the entire championship. Leicester has lost 6. Ipswich has lost only 4, bro. Yeah. So, like, it is real. I just think that, England, especially the championship, can be very chaotic.
Absolutely.
It can be brutal. We've tried to run it through on FIFA, and we went through a lot just doing that. So I think it's a lot, but it's there, and history is waiting to be made if Ipswich Town pulls off the incredible here, and it really could be that, man. So I guess I'll be tuning into Ipswich games, man.
I'm going to, definitely, man. I just need to see if they can actually pull this off. It's rare nowadays.
It'd be crazy, though, if, like, it ends up being like West Brom or Hull.
That's what I'm saying.
That just gets through over Ipswich, man.
That's what I don't want to see. That's why I'm highlighting Ipswich, because I'm just praying that they're different, that they're a different club in the championship. Derby County, I think, had a run a couple years ago, and I was like, maybe they could do it. They couldn't. Maybe Ipswich is different.
So staying in England, we have to highlight what is the best title race in all of the world. It deserves a few minutes of discussion.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Which is, at the end of the day, at the end of our journey, of the trek we've been on, looking country to country, finding the best title races, the one thing that is missing is the true weight of, quality, of stakes, of the top heavyweight teams going at it toe-to-toe. We are being gifted an incredible Premier League season, man, with 3 teams contending for a title in Liverpool, Manchester City, and Arsenal. It deserves to be highlighted, man. What a crazy experience we've had watching this league so far. 3-point difference, Liverpool on 60, Man City on 59, Arsenal on 58. I cannot believe we are in this situation that the whole world gets to experience it, bro, because this could shape out to be one of the best title races that we've ever seen in modern football, especially if it continues, bro. So the stakes are incredibly high. The quality of these teams is just incredible. And the journey that awaits us these next couple of months, watching these teams week in, week out, I think is going to be, like you mentioned before, incredibly terrifying, but also an absolute joy to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about it in our last episode. The Premier League is giving me nightmares as well as extreme excitement as to what's to come, because, pundits, us, influencers, whatever you want to call it, we can say what we think is going to happen, but this might truly be the craziest ending to a Premier League season that we've seen in the last, 20 years. Mm-hmm. And we've seen some crazy endings, man. I just can't believe that, given going into the season, there was hype for Liverpool, and there was also hope for Arsenal, but they've actually pulled it off. The hype that Liverpool had going into the season, basically revamping their entire midfield, maintaining a really good offensive line, hoping that Darwin Nunez would be better, and then seeing it all pan out, actually work. Mohamed Salah is back as well. There's so much going on for Liverpool, and it's why they're here. And then for Arsenal, last season wasn't a fluke. I know a lot of people said that they were a bottle job, but ultimately, we never saw it that way. And I think they've maintained an incredibly high level of football play. And it's the reason why they're still there right now. And then, of course, Manchester City, arguably one of the best Premier League sides ever. And they will be if they win it this year. That's all they have to do. Cement themselves in history. They will create a dynasty that might not ever be repeated. 4 Premier League titles in a row if they pull it off this year. That's what's at stake.
That's crazy.
There's so much at stake here in the Premier League. So yeah, honestly, outside of the UEFA Champions League, there's really not other European leagues that I'm going to be looking at week in, week out like I will be with the Premier League.
Yeah, the narratives are ridiculous. Like you mentioned, Manchester City pursuing greatness here, pursuing Hall of Fame moments, and Pep Guardiola just adding to his legacy and adding to this Man City dynasty that we've been seeing. Arteta and Arsenal, the incredible project they've had. They could have flamed out like Aston Villa at one point, man, but they've continued to remain as a prominent team in this league. The way of style that they've been playing, and most crazy, they haven't won it in 20 years, bro.
Yeah.
So that same narrative that Liverpool had attached to them leading up to their title in 2018, 2019, it's there for Arsenal now, man. 2 decades without winning a title for a team of this stature, that's this recognizable around the world, so popular, so well renowned. Not winning their domestic title, their domestic trophy in 20 years is a long time. This is their chance. This is their chance after a season where they almost had it. They had it in their fingertips, but then they lost it. They slipped it.
Yeah.
And lastly, Liverpool, man, with Jurgen Klopp and that entire narrative of one of the greatest coaches that has ever managed the game of football, announcing that he will be leaving at the end of the season. How does that impact the players, the emotions of the fans, the stadium, the entire community around Liverpool, wanting to see Jurgen Klopp leave just on Mount Everest at the very top with 2 domestic titles during the Pep Guardiola era? I think would just be incredible, bro. It'd be one of the craziest achievements ever seen, and it would just add to, just like how we mentioned, Pep Guardiola having his own dynasty, it would add to Liverpool's dynasty, man, and it would just cement it as one of the greatest generations of teams that we've ever seen. So the narratives are insane, dude. The narratives are insane because of the quality of the coaches, the quality of the players, and the way this thing is panning out. It's going to be incredible. But folks, I want to know, what leagues did we miss out on? What leagues out there are really, really competitive, really, really tight that you're keeping an eye on, that you want the rest of the Give and Go community to know about? We hope that you enjoyed our analysis, our research, and our teams and leagues that we brought up. But for sure, let us know your thoughts and what you think about the closest title races happening in the world of football. Until next time, guys. Peace.